Hello! Today I want to present to you a new open source project that just dropped in the Defold community. We'll be diving deep into Luden.io's SuperWEIRD Game Kit, a collection of 6 pre-production versions of their upcoming game. The project have their full source code and all the visual and sound assets released for us to explore, learn from and even reuse for free. These aren't just any code dumps, they come from experienced devs and showcase real-world game architecture, neat tricks and even custom tools. I'll walk you through what the project is about, how the code is organized, what libraries and assets they use, and how you can navigate the project to learn something new. By the end of this video, you should know how to approach reading this project and what valuable insights you can gain for your own development journey. So grab a coffee or tea and let's unfold this game together. If you haven't heard of Luden.io earlier, they are the creators of Wild True Learn, Learning Factory, Rewire, few VR games and released last year Craftomation 101, which is made with Defold. All their games share something in common in the very core, the educational purpose, to allow players to learn by experimenting and dive deeper as they become interested. SuperWEIRD is the upcoming co-op simulation game about designing and automating systems with cute lemming-like robots. Imagine guiding little rusty robots to fulfill tasks, and it's all being built with the Defold engine. Early in development, the Luden.io team ran many experiments with different visual styles and gameplay ideas to nail down the look and feel of SuperWEIRD. Rather than letting those prototypes collect dust, they decided to open source all the code, textures and spine animations from 6 of these early prototypes under the ultra-permissive CC0 license. This means everything is in the public domain. You can use the art and code freely in your own projects, which is incredibly generous. So what exactly is in the SuperWEIRD Game Kit? Essentially, it's a fully playable mini-game that encapsulates the core idea of SuperWEIRD, a shop and production simulator game loop. In the game, you fulfill customer orders, expand production lines, and manage resources. Think of it like a factory management or idle simulation scenario. The cool twist is that the kit includes 6 distinct visual styles for this simulator, 6 different looks ranging from cartoony to dark and moody, as you saw in the image collage. Each style was one experiment in art direction. You can play a demo of the kit on itch.io or grab the source from GitHub directly. And yes, it runs right in the browser thanks to Defold's HTML5 support, so it's easy to try out. Now let's talk about how the SuperWEIRD Game Kit is structured under the hood. If you download the project and open it in Defold, you'll find it's neatly organized into a few main sections. Luden.io even included a project structure breakdown in the README, which is super helpful. There's a loader collection that starts first when you run the game. This loader stays in memory and uses Defold's collection proxy system to load and unload the different world scenes. On launch, the loader initializes a start menu, the menu collection, which is what you see at the beginning of the game. Essentially, the loader is the hub that allows swapping between the menu and the game worlds without restarting the game. This is a common default pattern for managing multiple screens or levels, and seeing it in action here is a great learning opportunity. We do it similarly at Defold games, and I do also have a similar main collection being simply a loader in my Witchcrafter Empire Legends game. I recommend opening the loader collection in the editor and checking the loader script. You'll see how it handles messages to load or unload proxies for different worlds. It's a clean example of scene management in Defold. All the share game code lives in a folder named main. Inside, you will find Lua scripts and modules that implement the entire game simulation logic, handling orders, production chains, robot behavior, etc. This code is used across all worlds, meaning the 6 prototypes all rely on this same gameplay code. The idea is that while the art and visual setup can change per world, the underlying game rules and systems stay the same. If you're looking to understand how the game itself works, for example, how an order is placed and fulfilled, how resources are generated, the main scripts are the place to start. My suggestion is to open up the scripts in main, like for example main script or any modules there, and read through the logic. You'll likely see how the game updates, how it checks goals, spawns new customers, and so on. It's a concise simulation engine that you can learn a lot from in terms of organizing game state and logic in Defold. And now about assets and worlds. This is where the magic of multiple art styles comes in. The project has an Assets folder and a Worlds folder. For each of the 6 styles there is a corresponding subfolder in both. For example, Assets World 1, Assets World 2 and so on, up to World 6. Each contain the textures, images, spine model data, tile maps and atlases for that particular style. Meanwhile, the Worlds World 1, Worlds World 2, etc. contain the default collection files and game object setups for each style. In simpler terms, each world is a separate lever or a skin. One might have sci-fi laboratory graphics, another might have a fantasy theme with potions and spellbooks, another might be post-apocalyptic, and so on, each in its own folder. The gameplay doesn't change between them, only the visuals and perhaps some layout. This separation is really instructive. It shows how you can structure a project to support multiple themes or levels cleanly by partitioning assets. If you want to add your own world or style, it's straightforward. The devs even provided a simple how-to. Create new assets world N and worlds world N folders, copy an existing world as a template, and register the new world in the loader menu code. So the kit is extensible. You could make a world 7 with your art and plug it in. There's also an extras section mentioned, specifically a folder named SuperWEIRD Game Kit Assets contains an organized set of all the graphics and spine models used across the project. It's like a central repository of art assets, possibly for convenience if you want to browse or reuse the art. All the characters, robots, items and so on from those 6 prototypes are in there. And remember, they are CC0 license, so you can drop them into your own prototypes without worry. It's like an art pack bundled with code. Pretty awesome for the community. Speaking of spine animations, yes, Luden.io uses Spine, a popular 2D skeletal animation tool, for those cute robot animations and other animated elements. The spine data is included, but if you want to edit or tweak those animations, you will need the spine editor installed. Defold can run the animations out of the box, but editing them requires spine. So keep that in mind if you plan to customize the character animations, because while the default extension for Spine is free, the Spine itself is a paid software. From a code architecture perspective, SuperWEIRD Game Kit is fairly straightforward and showcases standard default practices. It uses Defold's built-in messaging, loader sending messages to switch worlds, and organizes code into reusable modules. The focus is on the game logic and Defold's core API, so if you're new to Defold, this project is a great reference for how to structure a game with multiple screens and levels, and actually a real-world game project of a pretty big scale. So my suggestion is, when reading the SuperWEIRD source, start by running the game. See how the game flows, dig into main scripts to understand the gameplay logic, trace how, for example, an order from a customer might be represented in code, or how resources accumulate. You can then pick into one of the words collections to see how the game objects are laid out. Where are the robots, where are the resource nodes, and so on. Because each world is a collection, you'll likely find game objects with certain names or scripts attached. Cross-reference those with the logic in main to see the connections. It might feel a bit like reading someone else's codebase, which it is, but the provided structured documentation will guide you. If you're feeling adventurous, you could even attempt to create a simple new world following their instructions just to test how modular it really is. Overall, the SuperWEIRD Game Kit offers an educational peek into Luden.io's prototyping process. Not only do we get to see a snapshot of a game's early design with multiple art styles for the same game, but we get a template for building similar simulation or management games. Luden.io is even encouraging developers to play with it. They mentioned on their Discord that they are eager to see what others build with these prototypes. It's like having a bunch of Lego pieces and the blueprint. You can follow their design or remix it into something new. The same code runs 6 different games just by swapping art and layout. This is a valuable lesson in modular design. We do the same at Defold, and I do the same when I make my own games. I also shared my basic logic and view separation framework back in 2024, focused on data, and released an open source tic-tac-toe game made with it, with few different control layouts and view representations. If you write your game logic in an abstract way, you can retheme or extend your game without rewriting core systems. So as you study the code, notice how, for example, the robots or items are not hard-coded for one art style. The code refers to them generically by functionality, and the actual visuals come from currently loaded world's assets. This is a design principle that can make your projects more flexible and scalable. Thank you for your attention and happy defolding!